Call the meeting to order. It's Friday, August 10th, 2018, 2 p.m. This is the Geauga County ADP Board meeting. I believe you all got copies of the agenda and the related items. If you need other copies of some of the papers, they're up there in the front. You need copies, or did you get emailed the documents? Tim,
no.
Did you get them?
Yeah, I have one on my phone.
You want copies of them, or you?
Are you addressing us? Are you offering them?
Yeah, you want them?
Cool. Thank you. What is the
$20, you can have them.
He's kidding.
I have the auditor.
Yeah,
Chocolate's making bad jokes.
right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
First order of business, we have the approval of the equipment list. This one is dated from July 2nd to July 31st, 2018. That's the big sheet with two sides. These are the equipment list coming through the New Worlds. This is actually ADP's. Everybody. So all purchases that is ADP or computer related. I'll entertain a motion to approve that equipment list as submitted. Anyone second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I just have a comment. I guess it was brought to our attention with the solid waste district. I don't know if you heard this, but some of the equipment.
Computers?
Yes, coming through our equipment there. And I guess with our legal counsel told us that possibly, since it is a separate agency, that they might not need the ADP's approval going forward.
Yeah, I've been involved peripherally on that. My conversations with Alan were, normally they would not be subject to our approval just to buy a computer for standalone use. However, the computers that would be required to be approved by ADP are those that connect through any mechanism into New World.
Okay.
Because that is on our side of the
Right,
network.
right.
I believe they don't go direct connect. They VPN in.
Right.
VPN does give them access through our system.
Okay.
So if they're a VPN-enabled computer having access to New World,
I mean, they would still be required to, for all your safety and,
antivirus
Yeah,
protection.
right.
Yeah, those computers that are connected
Yeah.
would have to go through the
Okay.
ADP board.
but as far as
Otherwise-
equipment purchases.
Yeah, otherwise, if I'm not mistaken, like copiers and things, those are not, right? The normal IT
Like
stuff.
phone stuff.
Those
Well,
are,
again, anything that potentially is going to attach back to us. So
Okay.
we don't know exactly how they're going to be attaching that phone system. A lot of our Cisco phones, because we have a port on the back, our PCs plug on the back of those ports. So if they potentially, the phone system, with the Cisco
Right.
phone, if they're
I
plugging
get
in
it.
the back of it, then they're VPN.
But it's more for security type purposes. I mean,
Well, security-
because actually, like they, it's its own standalone board and such, and it's crazy to me. But they don't even have to abide by the $50,000 bid
Right.
threshold.
Yeah.
So they have a whole different set of.
I think to Al's point, like if they're gonna VPN in, oftentimes they'll take their computer and they'll plug it in the back of their phone to VPN in. That makes now the phone part of our network.
Yeah.
If they go not through the phone, but VPN in, the phone would not be required to be.
But even
certified.
some of the smaller type purchases, like I was looking on here, like wireless mouses and such. I mean, they don't need to.
If it's not on a,
Okay.
if it's
All
not
right.
connected to us, they do
Okay.
not need to do
Good.
it.
Good.
If it is connected to us through VPN, that box would need to be approved by us.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll talk to Greg.
They're
O'Brien.
kind of
He's
like
our-
the health district is kind of like that, except they are on our network. So that's kind of not, who else
Well,
is?
something's a little bit more so on our network.
It would be like a township.
A township.
Or
Yeah.
township.
Like Chester,
Township.
if their fire is not connected to us, they don't need to go through any approvals. But if their police is, then they would need to be.
Right. And the thing that kind of makes it even, a little even more different is, the auditor's office is cutting the POs for the purchase of those, with our partnership with Trumbull County and Geauga County, correct? So I don't know if there's any legal, review from the auditor side of things, the approval
Well,
of cutting that PO.
We would trigger a $50,000 limit, because we would not, our people would not necessarily know
Right.
that they're not bound by it. So they would bounce it to Kate, she would have to research it, and then we would kick it upstairs if we had issues.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, we'll
something
talk
that-
further, I mean, we don't have to belabor it here today, but
Okay.
maybe, we can talk to Greg.
Yeah.
And he was the one that kind of brought this up, I
Okay.
think, so.
Yeah, we definitely could sit down with Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we've
know
just been
him
involved
from-
kind of on the periphery, because I know
Yeah.
the question, like Sunday, we got an email or something, right?
Yes.
You were working
I think
Sunday.
Skip was talking.
I was knowing Alan gets important.
Yeah, yeah.
He
But I,
sends 7 a.m. emails.
I think
It's Sunday morning.
the thing is, obviously they want to work in conjunction with you in partnership with this board, and but they don't want to waste anybody's time
Yeah,
either.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The second order of business is on these sheets, which you have copies of. These are the ADP purchases specifically, and this goes back a little bit further. It goes from May 23rd, 2018 through July of 2018 as submitted. So I would entertain a motion to approve these purchases as well. Some of these are not direct ADP purchases, but they're ancillary purchases that went through the ADP process. Yes? That- Yeah, Alan, that's how that's where the pay plan went through. So that was for GoDaddy. GoDaddy is a domain provider.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay, I
they
was a
used
little
that
confused.
source for payment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of misleading because it's not necessarily the party that they're buying from, it's the avenue of purchase.
Okay, all right, that explains it. I didn't know. I looked at that and I was going to ask.
Debbie, did you move? Did anybody second? All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you for that. The next item is we have the April 26, 2018 board meetings. Did everybody get a chance to look through? There's 4 pages of minutes. Anybody have any questions, comments, or additions or deletions to these minutes? So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes dated April 26, 2018 as submitted. Anyone? Good. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We'll start passing this around. You all can sign, please. Second item, the minutes from the May 22nd, 2018 meeting of ADP. Again, a 3-page set of minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes dated May 22nd, 2018. Thank you. Anyone second?
Second.
Thanks, Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Excellent. Looks nice. I'm going to get these back to you before I finish. A couple other items we have, and I've asked Linda Applebaum, who is our APA signed to under Jim Blaze's department. We did have a meeting, ADP had a meeting with Wolpert, and just to kind of refresh your memories, Wolpert is the contracting company that was contracted through Frank Alia back in 2017, I want to say, maybe 2016. They do the GIS mapping, the flyover mapping. They fly the county, they take digital imagery, they provide us with those images. We make them available on the internet to our residents. For those of you that weren't at the last meeting or the meeting before, we determined that that contract, which was for about $500,000, was never vetted properly. It was not sent out for bids. It was not approved by the prosecutor's office in the form in which it was signed, and it was not approved by the ADP board. So those are obviously disconcerting to all of us. We, at the last meeting, I believe Skip recommended that we have a sit-down with Wolpert to see if we can't clean up the contract. And Linda, I want to open it up to your comments. We did have the prosecutor's office review the contract to determine whether it was legitimate. And if you could comment to
Well,
what...
it is an enforceable contract, so if we decide to terminate it, we'll be breaching. And then the damages that we would pay are kind of murky. I mean, there's a limiting clause there, but, and then I'm told that the service is good, except maybe a couple things that we want to change. They came in and told us they were amenable to changing and getting into a new contract, but then they totally did an about face when they went back and public about it.
Right.
Do you
So-
know why? Is it
Because
because?
they're unethical people.
Yeah, I mean, it was very disingenuous. They came in and they're like, well, we'll look at these things, and then they sent an email back, well, we looked at it, but you know what, it's a contract, and we're not doing anything.
Right.
I mean, basically, I don't know that we have much,
That was very nice.
we don't have much leverage either, yeah, you're right.
We met on July 20th. We had legal counsel there. We thought it was a very productive meeting.
Right, I mean, they
We
were like,
walked
oh
away
yeah, they
thinking,
gave us,
these people
some
will do-
pens, they were-
Right.
Is it because it's too expensive for what we get? I mean, what is the reasoning that?
Well, the
All
issue...
these policies were violated, when Frank signed this.
Yeah, there were some venue issues. I believe the venue was a concern of ours. Usually we do venue here in the county so that we're protected. they chose their venue. There were some commercial issues, being that these images that they shoot and then give to us, we never really own. And we would like to have owned them, so that, for example, let's say a developer says, I want to develop this
I
area of
remember
the
that
county.
conversation, so you mean to tell me even with that, you still can't?
And we went as far as to search other counties to see who also use Wolford. How did they get away with showing those high resolution and making them available? And it was ironic because once we advised some of the counties, how are you doing that? Can you send us your contract? Those images disappeared.
So do it anyway.
So people were doing it under the table, not above board with the contract, and they went, uh-oh, so those disappeared. So here's what we have to do going forward. In conjunction with Linda, I'd also met with the special prosecutor, and his advice was, do your best to try to re-vet this contract, but you're probably going to have to just agree to this contract.
How long is it?
It goes another 2 years, there's another flyover in 2 years. We've paid about half of that contract, we have another half to go. I mean, it rubs me the wrong way, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. And this is one of those leftover,
It's not your fault.
you gotta deal with
And
it.
to get out of it, we're gonna end up, it's gonna cost us a lot.
Exactly. This came to a head because we have two rather small invoices for what they call touch-up flyovers. Earlier this spring, they did like touch-ups in areas that didn't get good resolution, and then they sent us those bills for that, which are included in our contract. I was prevented by law of signing those checks because we did not have a valid contract because we had not approved the 380. So that kind of is what stimulated all of this activity. I was hoping we had 2 years yet to try to fix this before the next major flyover, but we are now late on paying those bills, and they're wanting their money, and I can't pay.
So in 2 years, we'll be able to start, before then, start looking for somebody else that does.
We absolutely will. We're actually starting now. We've already looked at some other vendors. This is not an unusual thing with this company. They're kind of known for being hard-nosed. They own the market, but I think that's going to change with drone technology. They're hiring airplanes. I think drones are the way of the
How
future.
many companies are there, do you know the idea?
Wolpert was the only one at the time we bought this. They subcontract the flyover portion to the name of the company. Purtometry.
It was under state.
Under state.
Theory.
It's a state contract.
Yeah.
Sole supplier.
And the irony is, they argued that. They said, well, this is a state bid, but the terms did not match the state required terms. So you go, well, yeah, it is, you're listed there, but you're not giving us the benefit of
But
that.
because there's something, I remember something about it, because the state had certain more rights than the county.
Yes, the state has ownership of their
Yes.
Of all the
images.
deliverables.
We
Yes,
don't.
We don't, because it's the state contract.
That's right. And that's where the benefit went. So,
Well, under the state contract, we would have assumed, we should have assumed ownership of the deliverables from our subcontract, but this version specifically contracts around that.
so with that, I included in your packet, and I'm sorry to do this, I gave you the good news and the bad news. I gave you the contract as was signed by Frank Alia back in March of 2017. And then I gave you their last communication with us. It basically said, thanks for the great meeting, but we just think we're going to hold by our contract. And then so we put it back onto Jim Flaze's office, and Linda looked it through, and she said, I can't advise you to do something that's going to cause you more money.
I take it they make money on this, for instance, if contractors need to see this, and they have to put it down. Is that how it works?
What we would have to do, if a developer came to us, and probably Dave Favorite would not want to hear this, say a contractor wanted to develop an area in Geauga County, we would have liked to be able to provide them with a high resolution images, because that's the cleanest picture. We now have to, if it's a commercial enterprise, we can refer them to the state, who has the low imagery, and they own it, and they can give it to them. Our residents still get the benefit of the high res, but commercial enterprises, people for profit, and I understand the theory. The theory is they don't want Google to just be able to use the public domain, because we're paying for it. Google can make money doing it. But, we're looking at developers that are benefiting the county, not necessarily Google, but they don't discriminate. And we asked, can we put like a dialogue box that says you are agreeing that you are not a commercial entity outside of Geauga County? And, they're nodding their heads in the meeting, and then they basically did an about face and said, we don't like that idea.
Oh, yeah, I wrote down that too.
Yeah.
And we actually did draft.
We had an action item ready to go for a new contract.
Yeah.
And then they just pulled the rug out. So, it is what it is.
So is there any more approvals coming besides the?
I'm uncovering rocks, but
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're asking the questions I've been asking. Are there any more of these waiting for me? I don't think so.
Okay.
This one, all we would need to do as a board is approve this contract in the form in which it was signed,
And then you can pay the bill.
and then I can pay that bill, and we
Yeah.
move on with life.
Yeah.
Again, it's not something I'm happy about, but you deal the card, you play the cards you dealt.
Now, is that just ortho photos or is it also on the Last I knew, that has not been redone.
It's, I know it's the orthos, I don't know if it's topography. I don't think it is.
And what's happened over the years, there was a joint venture between the auditor and the engineer that set this up.
Right.
Obviously, they all see what happened. And usually the technical aspects of it.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of data included for that system.
Yep.
It's just, I understand where we're at now, but when we get into the next contract.
We've got to join heads.
We would like that.
Yeah. And the other thing that this did include was a program which did imagery discrimination. So it took previous pictures and present pictures, and it looked for anomaly change, which is how they discover buildings that appear without a building permit, which we have, and we've been trained on it. We're paying for that with this contract. We have yet to actually use it, but we're getting ready to use it. And I think, again, to your point, we should have all been at the table, I think, when this was negotiated to say, are we getting everything we want? Or are we buying things we don't want and need? And that has not been done in the past, which we hope to fix, but we got 2 more years yet. So I would entertain a motion to approve the Wolford contract dated March 15, 2017, and previously signed by Auditor Frank Galea as submitted. Second. No one wants to be on the record. You are all cowards.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? So be it. Do you need a copy of this? You have it? Okay. Let's see, next item. Do we need to sign this? Oh, this is solid waste. The next item on the agenda, we have a request from the Solid Waste Management District, the Geauga Solid Waste, to approve a phone system. That was, who can talk to that? Alan, which one wants the ball on that?
Well, I could probably talk to it. So basically, what this one is about, and this is for their phone service, so they're getting a phone system very much like a mini version of what we currently have. And that kind of, for us, is what really kicked in the fact that we needed to take a look, because we wanted to make sure that coming through a VPN connection to a PC tied to a Cisco phone, that their phone system doesn't see our phone system. And somehow these two decided to see each other and say, oh, there's another phone system, another phone system, let's link up. So we need to make sure that that wasn't going to occur. So that kind of what brought us into it. So we're good with this.
This is with Logicalis, we've done business with them.
It's a vendor that we have used in the past.
It's a pre-approved vendor. The total for this, I don't have it. It's 4 components, hardware, software, and 2 maintenance agreements, 1 on the hardware, 1 on the software. The amounts of the hardware is $24,443.57. Software is $1,575. The hardware maintenance is $1,230.83, and I'm understanding that to be annually, correct? And the software maintenance is $405.90. I will entertain a motion to approve that equipment purchase to Logicalis on PO 2018-3607 as submitted.
So moved.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? That will pass this around. Sign. Thank you. The next is that it's yours. This is the software update for the Board of Elections. This has been through the prosecutor's office. We've got Steve Sheela's approval on it. It's a rather lengthy contract. I believe it came to you in 2 parts. One was the unsigned version, and then one was the approved signed version from the prosecutor's office. Debbie, do you want to speak to this?
It's a new voter registration system that will be an ongoing process. We'll be bringing on board slowly as we don't want any interruption of the election going on, because we thought we were going to have this approved in June, and certain things happen and do it. So So we'll be continuing with our present voter registration and bringing this one on board, starting the conversion and getting ready so that after this election will be in place. And the other part to it, the 5,000 something on it, the remote ballot marking system, is something that we were directed by the Secretary of State to put in place. And we got a grant for $16,700 that will pay for that. 5,000 is the initial, say, installation, and then for each ballot, you have to pay on that. So we're gonna put that pending approval by our board. Our board didn't approve the second part. We would just put it in that fund so that it continues paying, so that we use up that grant, and the grant doesn't go away. We can use that for the ballots as they go each time. It's, what it is for people who need a screen reader to help people with any kind of problems, disability or something. So, and we were directed to do that. So that's basically it. Dorothy, do you have anything else to add? No, that's it.
Do you know when you're gonna launch this? When do you anticipate?
It has to be in place by September 1st, the remote ballot marking. We have to move it.
And the other items,
It's good.
that's gonna be staged or?
Well, we're hopeful, once they get together ballot, start the dump, we call it, our data dump, and then get that going, and then probably after the election.
Yeah,
I was worried.
that's what I saw, I think it was Sharon sent an email out, right?
Yeah, Sharon, well, because
I think you don't really understand the registration. We could do it, and this company especially is going to be with us every step of the way. See, we were supposed to start this in June, and there was some question about it, but this company is going to be on site with us every step of the way. So, and everybody, 63 counties in Ohio have it, and they said how wonderful it is, and they would have never hesitated going with it. But because of our other contract, we really can't get out of the other contract. So we're going to do it in stages, do it slowly. I mean, there's,
Just to be clear, the install date is September 1st?
Just for the ballot marking system, the accessible ballot marking system is the one that has to be in place by September 1st. The other one is our choice. I mean, slowly, after the election.
So,
They're really two separate.
I didn't know that ADP board had so much input into when we start things in our department, when you don't
Oh,
really
no.
understand it, but no, that's fine, no, that's
I
good.
was just instructed
No,
to
no.
ask questions.
No, I know, I'm just saying, no, I mean, no, I understand, but, no, I'm just surprised, that's all. I mean, I was reading the ORC and it didn't seem like, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna do it slowly, because the other contract, we don't wanna breach, like we were talking about contracts, we don't wanna breach the other contract. And we might be working with both systems at the same time, just to see how they work.
so this PO is for 4 items, voter information system at $59,778, installation and training of said system at $20,000, conversion of current, I'm assuming that's the database,
Yeah.
for $10,000, and then the accessible ballot marking system at $5,783, for a total of not to exceed $95,561.
They're all in the same PO.
There's no PO number
We don't
given
have
on this.
POs. We
So,
don't use POs.
yeah, so
Oh, no.
we're just approving the purchase of this item.
But this is in your 2018 budget or
18.
1918?
Yeah, there's a separate account, it's $95,000 that we put
Okay.
into that account.
Okay.
Thank you.
Plus, of course,
Second.
5,000 of it is a grant that isn't even from that.
I see.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? One abstention.
And just to be clear, we probably will be coming back to that other part of the remote ballot marking. The $10,000, we probably will be coming back to the board once I talk about it, to do that. And our board.
What's the plans for the big voting systems? I know that got pushed back.
Just so anxious
Yeah.
to spend that money.
Yeah, right. Has there been any update there?
We're at a point right now where everything's been certified, and we're waiting now for the DAS to deal with the vendors to try to get a discount.
Yeah, and I sent something to Dave
Yeah.
about what it is. Did he send?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna get $1 million something towards that.
Right.
Yeah, it was $250,000 to our county, just because of the size,
Right.
and then $11 per voter. And we have roughly 66,000
Voters, yeah.
So that's how they figured out $1 million something.
Sure. Okay.
Next item we have, this actually started some time ago. People have been asking for a pre-approved computer list, so if they want to take some action to buy another computer when it breaks. Cut out some of the approval process timing. So Al and Alan have been working on this for quite a while. This will probably be a work in process, correct? Correct. You were provided a copy of it. It includes things like display adapters, monitors, standard PCs, printer devices, there's wireless keyboards, some software, and then some other miscellaneous parts, flash drives. I know there was some consternation before my time of holding up flash drives. It's like all this for a flash drive.
Right.
So we're in the spirit of trying to kind of open up the spirit of cooperation. I think this is a good happy medium. We kind of pre-approved these. As long as they're on this list, they're good to go. I mean, is that a correct statement? So we don't have to have a pre-approval process. We'll simply approve the purchase after the fact. But I think that's healthy for us to.
And a lot of these products that are on that list, we go out and we get our 3-4 quotes from the vendors, so we'll always have the most recent price available, like for the computers, if somebody needs a new monitor, things like that. So it'll just speed up the process of having to get quotes in, a couple days, and then, emails back and forth and things like that.
So I do want to have the board approve this list. We will have to periodically reapprove it.
Probably as we update it.
As we update it. So if we could, for the next time, I'm just going to date this one. Let's have a running number, so we're not randomly approving lists that I don't know which list we're approving. So let's just say this list will be, today is 08, what is the date? Should know that, right? This will be approval of the ADP pre-approval list dated 08-10-2018-1 as submitted by the ADP co-directors for ADP's approval of the pre-approval list. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Yeah. The last item we have, Al or Alan, I don't know which one of you is doing this one. Alan, you, this is the spam filter.
Right, the spam filter, we have been paying a company for probably the last 5 or 6 years that I'm aware of, Cornerstone IT, about $16,000 to do our email spam filtering for us. And that's just strictly all it does is spam filter. It doesn't offer any real antivirus program. It doesn't offer us the ability to do encrypted emails if you so choose, or need to send an encrypted email. It doesn't provide that. So we started to look at some other alternatives. We went out and got some prices and some on this, and we're going to go with the Barracuda in-house. So we're going to bring that technology in-house to us. It's going to save us a lot of dollars. If you look at that one sheet, it kind of breaks down.
It's amazing.
What we're going to be paying for the equipment and the first 3 years of not only spam filtering, antivirus filtering, but also has built-in encryption, email encryption, is the same price we're paying now, basically, per year for just spam filtering. So we're going to be bringing that in-house as part of that project. We're going to be wrapping up the Exchange 2016 project. And the final piece to that, and I was hoping Mr. Claypool would be here because it's going to make him happy, the SSL certificate, that error message that people talk about with their browser when they go to OWA and it tells them, this is not a secure site, that's going to be taken care of at the same time. So,
Except on his computer.
Yeah.
Make it keep reappearing just to drive him nuts.
I know.
so all that just kind of gets wrapped up in one nice big finish, and
Great.
this should save us a lot of money and give us additional features.
And that's this total one of $49,000, right?
Well, no, that was just one of the quotes that we got back from a company. Some of those were just quotes that we had gotten back when we asked companies to quote on being able to do our spam filter and encrypted emails. Those were the prices we were getting back. One of them was as high as $49,000 a year.
Okay, so we don't need to approve it because it's under the...
No, we don't. It's under the $21,000. We just want to let everybody aware of it and be aware of the changes that are going to be coming. By the end of August, this will all be in place and done. And just let you know.
Do you anticipate any disruption of service?
None at all. We're going to be working at times when there will be no disruption to anybody.
Any other business before the board? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is
This is the fastest we've had. It's always happens on Friday after 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Is that why you do
People
That's
got
why I did-
places to be, yeah.
Let's make it to 3 because it's 3
We
days.
need to vote. All in favor of adjourning, yes?
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Stay forever. You need any of my copies?
Yeah, I know.
You want this one with the number on it?